Hi guys, what's up? It's Lindsay and welcome back to my channel. Today I have for you guys another what I eat in a week, but this time it is completely gluten-free and plant-based, which has been a new challenge for me, and if you want to hear more about that, I have talked about it in other videos. Hopefully this can help you out if you follow a similar diet or lifestyle, because I know how hard it is, and these are all really tasty recipes that also happen to be gluten-free and plant-based. So here I am to help you out. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I know a lot of people watch these videos that aren't subscribed, so like, what are you doing? Starting out our week on Monday, I just had some oatmeal topped with whatever fruit I had, which at the time was blueberries and figs, along with some sliced almonds, almond butter, and maple syrup for sweetness, because I feel like oatmeal always needs like a little bit of something sweet. It just needs some help. So that was what I had, and then I also made an oat milk chai latte, as you can see here, and I'll link the chai concentrate that I use below, because I pretty much make a chai latte every single day, if you didn't already know that about me. For lunch, I ate out. I had a sweet green shrumami bowl, which has mushrooms, beets, and tofu. It's really good. It has a great dressing. I honestly need to just learn how to make that at home because it's expensive, but good. My snack was some habanero salsa and chips. And then for dinner, I made jackfruit carnitas, which is one of my favorite recipes to make at the beginning of the week, because then you'll have a lot of leftovers to repurpose. And it's really easy. All you need is a can of jackfruit, half an onion. I use sliced onion that I had in the freezer, and then a bunch of spices. I'll have the exact measurements in the description, but you'll need smoked paprika, garlic powder, chipotle, and cumin. Then just brown your jackfruit and onions together. I'm doing this in my favorite Dutch oven, but you could also do this in a more shallow pan. You just need one with a lid, because once you add all the spices, you're gonna add in the juice of a lime and about a cup of water and steam that together for about 20 to 30 minutes. This will get your jackfruit to fall apart more easily. Then I just melted some Violife shredded cheddar onto my corn tortillas, because it is vegan cheese, so it kind of needs some more time to melt, but this is by far the best vegan cheese I have ever tried, so I highly recommend it, but that is the base of my taco. Then I also had some leftover rice that I microwaved and added some lime juice to kind of give it some more life. And then I just topped that with the jackfruit, some lime juice, along with some guacamole and the habanero salsa I was eating earlier. And this was super delicious, and you'll see I ate it again throughout the week. Tuesday for breakfast, I had a fruit bowl. I had 2 peaches and some blueberries. Sometimes I just wake up and want something sweet. And then I would say about like an hour or so later, I came back into the kitchen and made a savory breakfast of some avocado toast. I used this Cook's gluten-free sourdough. It is one of the few gluten-free and vegan breads that I have found that is a sourdough, and it's okay. It's pretty good. I mean, gluten-free bread is what it is. It's a little strange. So I typically just top it with things that are delicious and kind of view it as a vehicle for those other ingredients. So I just made some avocado toast with everything but the bagel seasoning, and you could pretty much eat that on top of anything. I also had a peanut butter and chocolate chip Lara bar. I love those. I have a box of them in my house at all times. And then for my lunch, I made some loaded nachos with our leftover jackfruit and the Violife cheddar shreds. I recommend layering your chips and your cheese so that so the cheese is melted everywhere. That is a pro nacho tip. This was so easy to put together, especially because I had leftover jackfruit. I just microwaved it all together to get the cheese to melt, topped it with some guacamole and salsa, and this was one of my favorite meals that I made, and you can really see how cheesy that Violife cheese is. Super, super good. You could also totally add like beans and corn or cabbage, cashew crema, like you could really go above and beyond. I also had a GT gingerade kombucha. I love this kombucha. It is my current favorite right now. It's really soothing to the stomach because it is ginger, but I also just love kombucha. For dinner, I made the best fried rice recipe that I have ever found. It is from Minimalist Baker, and I'll have it linked in the description, but I do like to add my own baked tofu. I just slice it, toss it in cornstarch, and bake it at 400 for 25 minutes. So that is my first step when making this fried rice. While that's baking, I'll prep my veggies, which are carrots, bok choy, snap peas, and green onion, and then just put that to the side to make the sauce. The sauce is really what pulls this together. It is lime juice, almond butter, coconut aminos, maple syrup, and chili garlic sauce. And trust me when I say that this is so good, I would eat it with a spoon, and you need to make it immediately. You'll never buy fried rice ever again. I also like to toast some cashews to throw in later, but that is optional. Then to actually start the stir fry, you're gonna put a generous amount of sesame oil in your pan. I'm using a wok, and then just start with your heartiest vegetable and go to your most delicate vegetable. So for me, that would be carrots, then the bok choy stems, then the bok choy leaves, and then our snap peas and our green onions. Her recipe in the description tells you how much time to wait for each vegetable, which really helps if you are new to stir frying things, and I would just set a timer and then like stir it for that long, add in the next vegetable, you get it. Then I added in about 1.5 cups of leftover rice that I had, just plain brown rice, along with our cashews, the green onions, and half of our sauce that we made. Stir it around, add your tofu, add the rest of your sauce, and that is it. I've made this for my family, I've made it for my boyfriend, and everyone was completely blown away with how good it is. It's the sauce, I know it is, so thank you, Minimalist Baker. Wednesday morning, I had some Trader Joe's gluten-free toaster waffles. These are really good. They taste like completely normal waffles, which is amazing. Then I just topped them with some almond butter and some figs because figs are in season and I just can't stop eating them. And of course, also some maple syrup, and I'm pretty sure I threw on some blueberries at the end. Then, as usual, about 30 minutes after breakfast, I made another oat milk chai latte. Having a milk frother in the house has changed the game. It literally makes it cafe quality, so I can't really go a day without drinking one just because they're so good. My snack today was chips and salsa and guacamole, so not just chips and salsa today. I'm just going through a phase right now. All I'm eating is salsa. I just can't stop eating salsa. Then for lunch, I ate the last of our jackfruit leftovers, again with some BioLife cheese, and because I didn't have any rice, I actually added on some sliced up romaine lettuce, which lightened them up a little bit, along with some hot sauce and some guacamole. For dinner, I had some fried rice because if you couldn't tell, I made enough fried rice for like 6 people, so had a lot of leftovers. And then after dinner, I really wanted to try out this zucchini bread cookie recipe that Wellness by Soph posted on Instagram. I'll link her post with the recipe in the description. It was super easy, used ingredients that I had on hand, and came together pretty fast. I did take some of the liquid out of my zucchini, which did make it a little bit dry, so I added in some extra oil and they turned out fine. They're a very cakey and fluffy cookie, which I personally really like. I've always been like a cakey texture kind of person, so I was a big fan. Thursday Thursday and Friday, I had a Zoom conference from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. with Adobe. I was super slammed for time, so I just made some avocado toast and a chai latte, and I ended up eating another slice of avocado toast during our 5-minute break, but I didn't film it, so I actually had 2 slices this day. And then of course I also made a chai latte because I do not normally get up that early, and I really needed the tiny amount of caffeine that chai has. I don't drink coffee, but just that little bit of caffeine, it's just enough for me. And then for lunch, I just had the rest of my fried rice leftovers because I just can't let those go bad. As a snack, I made some homemade hummus. I've showed this in videos before, so I'll just link what I do in the description. And I ate that with some Trader Joe's, I think they're like soy rice crackers. They're definitely an acquired taste. I used to not like them, but now I've gotten okay with them. For dinner, Danny came over, so I just made some really simple roasted veggies and some gluten-free pasta. I also made a little side Caesar salad with some romaine and kale and the new Trader Joe's vegan Caesar salad dressing. That is a godsend. They knew that I needed it, and it's delicious. I also topped the salad with some Violife Parmesan, which comes in a block and you shred it yourself. It is very realistic, I must say. I forgot to show you what pasta I used. It is the Trader Joe's brown rice and quinoa fusilli. This is my personal favorite gluten-free pasta that I have found. I just think the texture is the best, but you do have to rinse it with water after you strain it. Do not forget that step, otherwise it is kind of slimy, which is just, yeah, not the most appetizing word. Then I just topped it with some leftover red sauce that my roommate made. She's a chef and she has an entire video on this red sauce, so you need to check it out. I will have it linked in the description. It was a super delicious meal. We both enjoyed it, and he didn't even really care that it was gluten-free pasta because the sauce and the veggies and like everything on top was so good, which I think, again, kind of like gluten-free bread, is the trick. You just pump up everything else so you don't really notice the carb. You can also assume that I was eating those zucchini bread cookies throughout the week. It's just like hard to film when I'm just like grabbing a snack and eating it. Friday, I had that same early morning Zoom call, so I just made my avocado toast and chai latte and ate them in my room while I was waiting for the Zoom call to start, which is very classy. I would have to sometimes turn off my screen while I was eating because, you know. As a snack, I had a really ripe mango that I had been waiting all week to eat, and it was delicious. And then for lunch, I made this New York Times potato salad with mustard vinaigrette. I'll link the recipe below. The vinaigrette is super easy. It's just whole grain mustard, olive oil, and red wine vinegar. And then the herbs included are green onion, parsley, and dill. I really do recommend using half of the vinegar because it is quite a strong flavor, but overall, very light. Great recipe for hot weather because it is chilled. You just slice and boil some little red potatoes and then toss them into the sauce while they're hot so they can kind of absorb the dressing. Mix them all together there, and then you're gonna let that completely cool before adding in your herbs so that the herbs don't turn brown. My mom made this first and accidentally did that, so that is something I have learned that is not stated in the recipe. For lunch, I just had a bowl of that. It is definitely one of my new favorite recipes and perfect for a picnic. For dinner, Maddie and I made vegan enchiladas with sweet potato and black bean filling, and these were unreal. We have since made an entire video on her channel with the entire recipe because when I filmed this, we were kind of just like freestyling in the moment on it, but now we have a full recipe video, so check that out. I will put it in the description. This was really, really delicious. Probably the best vegan enchiladas I've ever had, and I have made many enchiladas before. I have ordered them at restaurants. I did actually make a cashew crema this night, which isn't in our recipe video, so I will show you that. It is just a cup of soaked cashews. You can soak them overnight or just soak them in boiling water for like 10 to 20 minutes. Then just blend them in your food processor or high-speed blender with half a cup of water, some lime juice, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and a spoonful or 2 of chipotle peppers in adobo sauce, depending on how spicy you want it to be. also ended up adding a little bit of lime zest just to kind of intensify the lime flavor, and this was a really nice addition on top of the enchiladas. It would also be really good on top of the nachos or on top of the tacos, but I will say that if you are using a food processor, the texture isn't going to be as smooth as you probably want it to be. It's just the nature of a food processor, but once it's on top of your meal, you can't really tell. It's just like if you're eating a spoonful of it, it's a little bit gritty, but the taste is good, and that's what matters. Also worth noting, we used the Sauté almond flour tortillas, and we also used the Sauté green enchilada sauce. They are a brand that has a lot of grain-free and gluten-free items, so totally recommend them. So there are the finished enchiladas with some cilantro on top for presentation points. This, although it looks, you know, a little messy, is really, really tasty. And if you want the full recipe, like I said, we did a video on it, so check it out. So that is it for this week of what I eat, featuring only plant-based and gluten-free recipes. I hope you guys enjoyed it, found it useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I really appreciate it. It really helps me out. That's it from me. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you all next week with some more content. Bye guys.